Hi, glad to have you back. And now we have in the studio a poet talking about Ruddapoet. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So Ruddapoet, poet, tell us what's new. What's new in the world of poetry right about now?
I think every day poetry is evolving with the situation you have in town, in the country, in the world at large. You find poets trying to improvise, trying to make something new out of their art. Let me take for instance, during the last slam competition, it wasn't just about somebody trying to come in and win. All he wanted was just a voice. So in trying to create a voice, he comes up with improvising maybe a music through his form of poetry. You now find poets who are into rap. They tend to capture the audience maybe in a commercial way or sort like that.
Commercial way.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to imagine a poet, doing the rap thing.
I think a lot of rappers started as poets. Yeah, maybe they couldn't just sit back and keep writing those lines that have to be meaningful all the time. So yeah, at the end of the day, they ended up being rappers. Yeah.
All right, 2016. I know you've chalked in 2 awards already. You've won 2 poetry competitions already, and you're going for the 3rd and probably the 4th. There's something that struck me the first time we spoke, your ability to come out with amazing titles for one to write. I would like to know what inspires you and how do you decide what title? And if possible, give us like 3 titles that has been amazing that you came up with.
Okay.
And I'll give you 2 of mine.
Okay. What inspires me? Everything around me inspires me. From the crawling ants to the moving cloud, everything around my environment just inspires me. And about titling my poems, I don't know how that happens. I just sit, I want to write a piece, and I just sit down and then the title just pops up. And when it comes, that's how the line mutates. You write the first line, it mutates to the second one, and then until when you feel it's okay, when your muse tells you it's done. I think let me say writing is not as easy as people think it is most times. So when it comes to poetry, you just have to, in a way, it should pass a message, it should make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. These days you have a lot of poets with few poems. You see someone will tell you, I'm a poet, and when he tries to give you his poem to read, it's meaningless. It holds nothing in it. Let me see titles. Like there's this one I did one time. Poetry is merely madness. I think it has always been one of my best pieces ever. Poetry is merely madness. Then Precipice of Life, communication. Yeah, that just talked about life in general, how we treat our families and God. I think I can give you just those 2 for that. Yeah.
Okay, now looking at a poem, how would you assess a poem? Saying, okay, this is a good poem. What are those parameters that you can use to say, okay, this person did a very good poem here? Because back in the day, I did a course in poetry, and reading a poem, you have to go behind the meaning of each word, look for those in-depth meaning, the verses and everything. So what would you like? You're assessing someone now coming up. How do you assess to say this is a good word?
Okay, you look out for the literary devices now in the poem. Yes, you're trying to communicate through words, but then in literature there are some devices that qualifies a body of some letters to say this is a poem. You have metaphors, you have similes. So now the structure is another thing. You don't just arrange these things in such a way that they're just sitting there. You find somebody trying to, he tries a form of repetition. Repetition is another literary device. He tries a form of repetition, but he doesn't structure it well. Now, when you see a good poem, when a poem is being placed here, I read and you also read, and we both can get something out of it differently. That authenticates the poem. Yeah. So the duality of 2 minds on one piece just authenticates a poem.
Okay, I'd like to get a little bit controversial. When you've got a female poet and a male poet, what's the striking difference and the striking superiority between these two gender?
Oh, striking difference. Okay, for the male poets, no, let me start from the female. From the female poets, I've observed, I've observed with the female poets, their pieces are quite emotional. Okay. It's always coming from the emotional part. Now, when you get a female poet who doesn't come from that angle, trust me, she's seen as a male poet. She can stand the male poet, but most of the male poets can go all round. They could touch everywhere. So hearing a female poet and a male poet, I don't think you need to even watch, even if the voices are the same. When you hear the content, you may just tell, okay, this is a lady who wrote this.
Okay. Is it true? Sorry, this is a follow-up question. Is it true that most female poets and male poets are players? Well, because they've got the sweet tongue, they know the right words to just stuff in to get you all jelly.
I don't think people still buy
I really need to ask that question.
Okay, another assignment for you. I don't know. Okay, I think I would like you to do this. Let's get to heaven in a hurry.
Okay.
That's a title I'd like you to work on. Then when we were young, I'd like you to work on those teams. I think we'll make it a nice piece.
Okay, let's get to heaven
in a hurry.
In a hurry. In a hurry.
Then the days when we were young.
The days when we were young. Okay. How do you come about your own titles?
Okay, turning the tables.
How do you come about your own titles?
Okay, well, I think I just probably try to feel deep as regards the where the message I want to pass across.
Okay.
And I also look at the people, the characters that I intend to talk to. I think those are the two things that most times inspire me. And the fact that I want it to be mysterious also helps me in creating titles.
Well, about that, now when you're performing poetry,
all right,
I growing up in poetry, it helped me understand my own audience, my crowd.
All right.
You don't just go and see little kids sitting as your audience and then you try to do a piece, a very mysterious piece. You're talking about the codes and Vitruvian Man and a lot of things like that. The audience also help you develop in your own way. Now, it happened so well that as I grew up in the whole poetry thing, I tend to memorize a lot of my pieces. Okay. So I just go for a particular show ready to perform any piece, depending on the type of audience I see. Whatever I perceive they can welcome, that helps me perform a particular piece. So sometimes I have pieces that are very deep, but they may just be for me, just me alone. I don't want anybody else to hear that, because you keep asking me questions. Okay, what does this line mean? What does this one mean? No, sometimes those pieces are for me. I relate with them better. Sometimes you have a crowd where they love things that are very real, they are deep, and you have to go deep. And when you are not deep, you just, I know this guy is still coming up.
Talking about your audience, getting your audience and all of that, how do you rate the response to your branch of art?
Okay.
Let's say in Nigeria, now do I narrow it down to Abuja? What's the response like when you call for spoken word? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, spoken word.
Do people really respond? Are people interested? Because it seems like it's not everyone who's really interested in.
Well, it may surprise you. People, it's really rising now. People are really interested. Yeah, people are really interested. And then for me, I try to also infiltrate all these other programs where they don't have things about poetry. And I remember trying to talk to somebody in a church during a gospel presentation to call me up to do something about poetry and all. And then it worked. It was the first time they were seeing things like that. I saw a woman in the crowd opening her mouth and all. It's really rising. Yeah, it's really breaking through. And coupled with the whole social media now, you tend to help. I try to post up short videos and post on my page, and then people tend to, okay, what's this guy trying to do? And next time you go for a show and then somebody like, I follow you on so I'm like, oh really? Yeah. So this is what you people do. How does it? And then from there you get and you get one person tells another, and then it's really growing. It's really growing.
All right. How do you deal with writer's block when probably you're doing a piece and somewhere the thing just refuses to flow anymore? How do you turn things around?
Oh, how do I turn things around? I go back reading. Yeah, for me, I actually go back reading. I go back reading and I take long walks. I don't think about that poem, that piece I'm writing. I don't just think about. I just begin from somewhere else. Some pieces are maybe meant to be like that. You start and then you're supposed to end it that way. So sometimes I just let it be, and sometimes in the future you may find yourself trying to finish up that piece and it will actually flow. Yet there are lots of pieces that I've cut them halfway, and whenever I'm performing them, I have a continuation. Whenever I go back to write, that continuation doesn't fit for that moment. So it happens like that for me.
Now, right about now, what's the bigger picture for you?
Okay, the bigger picture. There's this competition in Lagos, War of Words. Yeah, the first prize winner is supposed to get 500,000. It's supposed to be 1,500,000, and then 500,000 he will be sponsored for an international slam competition. Well, for me, I want that to be like a stepping stone. Yeah, even if I don't get to make it, that would help me create more publicity. But then I want people to just not see it as an art. They should also learn from it. I want to inspire people. Young kids are growing up and then they are trying to understand this. What is poetry about? And also, I want from here to if I try to conquer nationally, I go international. But then let a message be always passed. Let me inspire somebody out there.
All right. This question is as regards the Grand Slam you're hoping to go into now. Does it take anything away from a poet when he cannot really recite it without reading his piece?
You mean props?
Yeah. What's the difference between someone who can just drop it like it's hot and someone who has to read the piece? Okay. Does it take anything away from?
Yeah, it does, because when you're memorizing off from your head, you connect with your audience. You're talking of anger, they see it in your face, depending on how you may have practiced that piece.
Okay.
Now when you read some of these pieces will be better off when they are memorized. When you read some of them, they just tend to follow it up like the imaginative voice that reads that novel whenever you flip through it. So it's just like that. Will just follow up, but then those pieces that are being performed, they take you find the audience being in that situation, being like the poets, and bringing up all those words, creating the magic and doing all those things. So it really takes a lot away from the poet if some of his pieces are not memorized. I'm not saying all pieces have to be memorized, but some of the pieces that deserves to be memorized, I think they should be done well with.
Talking about encouraging the young ones. How do you intend to go about doing that?
Okay, back in Jos, we had this competition between secondary schools where we give them a theme to write about, and then at the end of the day we pick the best three and help them out. Now we also have our own group as poets, let me say adult poets or veteran poets. Now we bring in these kids, they see what we do. Some of them try to imitate us. In Abuja Literary Society, there are lots of children that come to watch us do, and then I've experienced this little girl who came up and they said it was the first time she was now reciting a piece off her head. Yeah, all the time she was always reading and reading. Her mom was sitting there, she was so happy. And then there was the last slam competition. I didn't compete, I just came in during one of the interludes and performed I Hate Poets. And then after the whole program, a young boy came out and met me and was like, "You inspire me a lot. I want to grow up and be like you." So with that, I think they tend to see all these things and tend to grow. Night of a Spoken Word, which was held recently by DK Chukwumeriji, he had 2 children in between the program who came and they performed, and that's really encouraging. We're talking now as kids, and then tomorrow they see you on TV holding a mic and they're like, what is this guy doing? I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to Ruddapoet Adidi for coming to Splash more poetry and ways to become a better poet. Anytime you see someone called Ruddapoet Adidi and he's not wearing a red cap, then you know he's not the one. I want to say a big thank you for making the day special.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, I will go for another quick break, and when we come back, another interesting guest waiting in the wings just for you.